Morning, people. Welcome to the Canyons. This is a Mustang.
Yes.
That replaces 3 Mustangs.
Yes.
They've gone -3 + 1.
Right.
So we lose the Shelby GT350.
Mm-hmm.
We lose the Bullet.
Yep.
And we lose the PP2.
Right.
Performance Pack 2 GT. And they are all collectively replaced with the Mach 1.
Yeah.
The new for 2021 Mach 1.
So this gets some bits from just about all of them.
It's a little bitsa. It's a parts bin special, but as you will see, they've chosen some good parts.
Yeah.
The right bins, the right parts from the right bins.
It's a good leftovers dinner.
Right. The engine is Coyote 5-liter, 480 horsepower from the Bullet.
460 torque. Right.
Right. Right out of the Bullet. The gearbox is the Tremec TR3160 out of the Shelby GT350.
Right.
This is good, because regular GT-based cars use a Getrag MT82, which is a flaming hunk of shit. It's an awful gearbox. One of the worst manual gearboxes ever put into a sports car. So the fact that this Mach 1 gets the Tremec is incredibly important. Let's see, you've also got the front and rear subframes from the GT350. Mm-hmm. You've got magnetic shocks from the GT350.
With all the newest programming and all the stuff.
Correct. You have recalibrated steering. You have some bits from the GT500, rear axle trans-cooling upgrades from the GT500.
Right, so it's got a diff cooler, which the PP2 did not have. It's got a new steering input shaft also.
Yep.
And then trans and oil cooler.
Right. Then we get 15-inch 6-piston Brembo brakes. This one has the $3,500 handling pack, which gives you a front splitter, the big wing in the rear, lightweight aluminum wheels, Cup 2 tires, and different adjustable shock mounts up top. I don't know what they're adjusted to.
I think you can adjust the camera stuff, but I looked at them. They're set to whatever.
Regular. They're set to something. They're set to something. 0 to 60 in 4.3, quarter mile in 12.6 at 1:15, and the car weighs 3,850
It's a big
pounds.
one.
All right, we're gonna do my loop here, where we go all the way around and start the open section and go to the tight section. Ready?
Yes.
Hammer down. Hey folks, today's Mustang Mach 1 video is brought to you by Heel and Toe Apparel. Look, the number of cars you can buy with a manual transmission, the number of true driver's cars, the number of properly sized sports cars is dwindling every day. If you can afford one, you should buy one. If you can afford a manual transmission supercar, buy it right now. But if you can't, maybe you can afford something from Heel and Toe Apparel. Shirts, hats, hoodies, and accessories that show your love to the outside world for the manual transmission and for true driver's cars. We're offering a special discount at Heel and Toe Apparel for TST fans, so hit the link in the description, heelandtoeapparel.com/TST for a special TST discount. Now enjoy the Mustang Mach 1. By the way, no lift shift, watch. So you leave your right foot on the floor as you're smashing your way through the gears, and because it's the Tremec, you can actually smash your way through the gears without grinding second and third like the MT82 did.
Right, I mean, this transmission has like beefier synchros, beefier gears, so it's meant to withstand that, but you also can feel what you're doing.
Right.
With the MT82, you weren't sure when you were in the gear, and then it crunched into the gear.
The shifter
all of it
feel
felt
is
bad.
good here. So, the sound is excellent. The shifter feel is excellent. The clutch pedal, little long throw and a little heavy, if you're asking me, but it gets your job done. Listen to that.
Yeah, the Mustangs sound good. It's a familiar sound, but it's a good one.
And it loves to rev. You know, unlike the LS and LT based engines, you can spend all day above $4,000 in one of these things. I mean, it really has no problem at all being up top.
The Coyote motor is like, I feel like it's underappreciated. It's a really good workhorse. I think we see GT Mustangs so often, it's like, oh yeah, it's that engine. It's like, yeah, but this engine, we've driven cars with blowers on them that have 650 horse, stock bottom end, stock everything. It holds up to it.
Well, if you're going to go with a blower, the Mach 1 is now your only option because of the gearbox. You know what I mean? I wouldn't waste a dime putting a blower on a GT. So So you get the same size wheels and tires as the GT350R. They're just not carbon.
Right.
They're aluminum. And what that means is, good news, lots of grip, right? Very sharp turn in, right? And because they're not carbon, you're not going to like break them if you hit a curb.
Right.
Bad news, tram lining. Lots of tram lining.
I actually didn't notice it to be that big a problem on the way up here.
On the way up here, oh boy.
I remember the GT350 dancing a lot more. It could be, I don't know if the alignment is different.
It could be the top mount things being adjusted.
It just might not. I don't know if it has the same camber and toe as the GT350 did. It might be the same. Someone can comment. It might be different. It felt like that car was pulling me around a lot more.
Yeah.
And on the way up here on Highway 1, I was just like one hand on the wheel, kind of. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised.
This person is not going to move out of the way.
This person is not driving.
I've been flashing. They just don't. They either don't know, or they have contempt for us.
Right. They have an agenda.
In my last 3 days driving this car, it's really darty.
Okay.
You really have to keep your hands on the wheel. In fact, at one point, driving up a certain part of the road, I thought the active lane keep assist was getting involved.
Oh,
when it wasn't. It was just the ruts of the road darting me all over the place. It was terrible. And oh boy. And so there's a trade-off with Mustangs, right? You want the car to turn in hard. You have no choice but to put a wide front tire on it, right? But you're going to get that tram lining.
Yeah, people have to be ready for that because you have a ton of weight in the car.
Right.
So the only way to make that much weight turn is get a bunch of tugboats and push them over that way or push them over that way.
Exactly.
But the current that is the road.
Coyote? Look, coyote.
Whoa!
Coyote in the road.
Where are all your friends?
That's straight coyote.
Usually you see a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's smiling. He just ate someone's French bulldog.
I really like the look of it. I like the sound. I like the style. I don't love how this seat makes me feel like I'm sitting up on top of the car and not down in the car. Considering it's a manual seat, I don't know why it's so high up.
Yeah, I agree. And the side bolsters are great. They hold me really well, but the lack of lumbar. Every Mustang seat, whether it's Recaros or not, even the RTRs, they have this like concave back to them, where you kind of sink in. It's
this
each their
being
own,
a Recaro performance seat in what is a $65,000 sports car, to not have a lumbar support adjuster or even a lumbar support at all, in my opinion, is a major oversight.
Even like the airbag, Recaro makes that cool air pump one.
Switchy.
Okay, what mode am I in?
You're in my mode.
I'm in your mode.
Which has normal throttle response.
Right.
Because with a NA engine, it's the same power. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sport steering, sport exhaust, soft shocks.
Soft mag ride.
Yeah. The mag ride in this car, you still really get totally appropriate handling ability, even with the shocks in soft. You don't need to put the shocks in super stiff. And actually, the reason I have the engine calibration in normal mode is because, as far as I can tell, and I've spent real time playing with this, the engine is linked to the shocks. So you put the engine in shocks in sport, the shocks go in sport. Put the engine in normal, the shocks go in normal. There's no separate adjustment for the shocks.
Yeah, we were trying to play with the My Mode adjustment thing. In other cars you can go, okay, I want this engine setting, like the BMW M. This engine, this shock, this transmission, and this, it's all kind of tied together.
Well, the traction control, steering, and drive mode are separate, but the shock and drive mode are tied together.
Right.
Which is a little frustrating. So this section is the really tight section that I've made Zach. I haven't made, you chose. What am I talking about?
Chose the tight section. I was curious because, I don't know, so far the steering feels surprisingly light considering the weight of this car on the tight road.
Well, it's electric, right?
Yeah,
It's got 3 settings: normal, sport, sport plus.
And they usually just add a weight.
It is in the middle.
In my experience, when they go to sport or track, it's just adding weight to the steering. These are so fun. A good Mustang is a good car. They're a really good overall car. They got rid of the back seat in this. That's fine. It's not a lot of room back there anyway, but at least you have a parcel shelf. But
you can option it back in at the dealer.
Yeah.
Same thing with You can option an automatic transmission.
Right, it's 10 speed, yeah.
Yeah. Is that?
Oh, we got a truck. That is a truck. Flatbed.
Oh, boy.
Tow truck.
Oh, boy.
Who are they helping out?
Oh, boy. This is going to be a thing, isn't it?
Right. Well.
Oh, boy. Either we're going to have to pause or something because this
maybe the tow truck driver will let us
Maybe
by.
he's turning in. Yes.
Yes.
The tow truck person is more considerate than the
Equinox.
Chevy Equinox.
I like the gauges in this. Like, they're not that, gorgeous or anything. It's an all digital gauge, but I do like the tack that just goes across the top. It's really easy to read.
That's a throwback. That's 60s. It's a throwback to when the speedometer used to do.
Oh, right.
That, you know what I mean?
Everyone's complaining that they got rid of the shaker hood, which was actually an option back in '69. It just came on most of them. But I don't care. Like, I'd rather be able to see more over the top of this. I bet it would cost an insane amount of money to add a functional shaker hood to this car. I mean, it's like insane. Like if they told you that how much it costs, it would be like in the tens of millions of dollars to add a shaker hood to this car. And they probably have to like do all kind of pedestrian crash testing with it. That's so what I'm saying. It's like, it's not just like cut a hole in the hood. Yeah, they're not going to do that anymore. He doesn't need it. The car looks good. The package looks good. Well, you're getting kind of a budget GT350, right? Mm-hmm. With potentially. Now look, I love the Voodoo engine very, very much. The Voodoo engine rules. It's a very special engine. But the fact is, and people aren't going to like this, but driving this around every day, if you're shifting it under 5, it feels faster. Ooh. This feels faster than the GT350 if you're shifting it under 5,000. It also, go right. It's also easier to deal with than the 350 in everyday situations. And as much as I love the 350 and I love the Voodoo engines, the fact is, there's a lot of warranty claims on those. A lot. Class action. We Googled it the other day on the podcast, Smoking Tire Podcast, and there was multiple results. They've had different claims, and now there's a class action about it. I think Ford's trying to just defer warranty claims. It's just a big mess. It's a very complicated engine. It's special, but it's complicated. It's had a lot of problems. But this thing, this thing goes. This is almost as fast with fewer headaches. Right. The trade-off, it doesn't sound as good. You don't get as much revs, right? This revs to 75, that revs to 8250. And it's not as special. I mean, a lot of that specialness from the 350, part of it's sound, and part of it's just knowing I have an 8,000 RPM flat plane crank V8, and this doesn't have that kind of special thing. But it has all the other good parts. It's got all the handling parts. It's comfortable. Yeah. It does all the things that I like a good Mustang to do. And the PP2 was a really good car. PP2 was good, but it had a crappy gearbox. Right. Shelby was good, but it was unreliable. Yeah, right? And real expensive. And the Bullet was good, but it was fucking nostalgia, just recycled for the millionth time, and nobody gives a shit about Steve McQueen or Bullet. And at least nobody under 60. Nice, having a good time right now. Yeah, I can feel what the front and the back are doing. I like the brake pedal. I like the feel through it and the pedal travel. It's nice. It has really good balance. This car has great front-rear balance. Yeah. It's a really nice car. It's a very nice car. And the Mach 1 always landed between. It was GT plus, but Shelby minus. Right. It was a little nicer than a GT, both in terms of creature comforts and performance, but it wasn't the full tilt boogie Shelby car. Right. And since the full tilt boogie Shelby car is gone, that's over now. You're right. 350's done. So if you want, a Mustang for the track with a stick, this is the one. This is the one. And this gearbox pretty much makes it the only GT I would recommend at all. Period. GT based product. Yeah, if you can afford it, it's good. It has all the cooling you need. The trans is built. It has all that good stuff. Yeah, and cue-ball shifter, which I like. Yeah, thanks to Ford for letting us have a go. Thanks to you guys for watching, and we'll see you all later. Bye.
And remember,
Always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.